Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicky.
And today we're going to give you an update on our yards.
Yay!
So a few weeks ago, we actually applied Scott's Triple Action South to my grass, and that is supposed to help with fire ants, weeds, and greening it up. And we're going to show you how it's looking basically 8 weeks later. And then we're going to apply the Ultra Feed, which is going to help my grass stay green all season long. But before we get started on my yard, we're going to show you adding Triple Action South to Mom's yard. And I will tell you that we actually used one bag of Triple Action South on my yard and that same bag on her yard, so it goes a long way. As you can see here, Mom's yard is a quite bit larger than my yard. So there was, she actually has a full front yard, a side yard, and a backyard.
First thing I did was pour the Triple Action into the hopper of the spreader, and I made sure that edge guard was on, so I could, as I walked around the perimeter, it didn't go into the street and into the driveway. So I walked the perimeter and then I took that off. Then I walked the inside of the property, staying about 5 feet away on each turn until I was done. And then I watered it in, and as it happened, I couldn't find the nozzle. So I actually, did the whole thumb on the nozzle thing, trying to spray. And like Steph said, I have a big yard, and it took me forever to water the yard. So once I had finished the back, I actually went over to where the hose was, and you know what? There was the nozzle. So I got to put the nozzle on the hose, and it absolutely was so much faster and so much more efficient to have a nozzle on the hose. So if I would tell you to do anything, make sure you have a nozzle for your hose.
You better get a sprinkler, and then you don't even have to physically do the watering in. All right, so it's been about 8 weeks since we applied the Triple Action South at Mom's house. So here is an update on what her yard looked like before, and here it is after.
I have to say, I guess I have to admit that I have never ever done weed control or fertilizer or anything in this yard. Can I say that? Is that okay to say?
How long have you lived here?
I lived here since 1998. This yard needed a lot of work. And I must say that I'm very pleased with what's happened so far. Yes, there's still weeds, but the yard is, in my opinion, 100% better. And the two things that I really like is there are no more fire ants, and I haven't noticed any sand spurs coming up. And that's a big deal. And if you live in Florida, you know what those are, but they're little prickly balls that get everywhere.
So that's an update on Mom's yard. Now it's been 8 weeks for my yard as well, so that means it's time to apply the Ultra Feed, Scott's Ultra Feed, which is actually exclusive to Home Depot. And we bought that when we bought the Triple Action South at the beginning of this, and we are going to now apply that at my house. So here we are. You can see Mom again poured it into the hopper of the broadcast spreader, adjusted the setting based on the needs for Florida. And here Mom is spreading it just like she did the Triple Action South in the original video. And as you can see here, my yard is quite a bit smaller than Mom's.
It took about that long. Super fast. Well, this time we did go get a sprinkler, but we didn't really look at, the specs on that. And that sprinkler is good for a yard that's 3,200 square feet. And, Steph has a postage stamp size yard. So I decided I would pick it up and I would actually use it like you would do a sprayer on a hose. And it actually worked really well. I was able to just really stand in one place and get the whole yard.
And then we repeated that same process on my little side yard. And in the upcoming days, we'll actually be applying the Ultra Feed at Mom's house. We'll do that off camera. It'll be the same process as we've been doing for these other ones. But this time we'll be able to use a sprinkler as intended because her yard is bigger. And as you have been waiting for, the update on my yard. So here is the before of my yard. And here is the after. I had a big issue with weeds in the front of my yard, and those are all gone, as you can see here. And also here was a fire ant pile, and that is completely gone. Now a little background on my front yard. So there used to be a big area of my yard that was cut out, and it had some different plants in it when I moved in. And over time those plants have died, and recently, I think a year ago, I actually removed that whole middle section, and I just let the grass kind of fill in that area. So my yard is kind of weird. It's gonna probably take a while for it to like completely come back to full life, but I'm really happy with how the product worked, and it was really not a lot of work, especially for a small yard. So I'm really happy. I also feel like we're doing a good thing for our grass to feed it and to you know, give it some nutrients that we have kind of been neglecting. That's the update, and if you want to see an update in the future on how the Ultra Feed is keeping our grass green, let us know in the comments. But yeah, so overall, what do you think?
I've been very pleased. You know, it's not magic.
Yeah.
But it is, and it doesn't promise to be magic.
Yeah.
And I think over time, using it on a regular basis, I will get control of the weeds, and the grass will look so much better.
Yeah. And also, we do have some bare patches, like huge bare patches, where it's just where this was never going to bring grass, because that's not its intended purpose. Where we could probably put some grass seed to try to grow some grass in those areas, and then the product would, I would assume, would green those areas as well. So there's more work we could do to these yards, but I'm really happy. I feel like this is a good first step.
It's a good start, and it was uncomplicated.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I liked. I've been looking at advertisements from local nurseries, and they have all just list of products, and I think that's what kind of turned me off doing anything with the yard, because there were so many things that you have to consider, and just with these 2 bags we can make an improvement to the yard. So
Exactly.
it is just easy and uncomplicated.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more projects from us, be sure to visit us at motherdaughterprojects.com and subscribe right here on YouTube. Click that bell and be alerted to all our new projects. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.